Hey, MCE crew, World War III has begun. Now, you may not recognize it as having started because it's not going to be fought with weapons of war like bullets and bombs. This war that has begun, World War III, this is going to be fought economically. And the first shot has been fired. Actually, I'll say the first shot has been fired, okay, because this is a big development, but we've been leading up to this for quite some time. Now, we're going to go through what is occurring. We're going to go through what are the opening salvos of this economic war, which is World War III. And then we're going to talk about how these developments are going to change the way we live. They're going to have some serious economic impact on people who live here in the United States, Canada, and the UK, and around the world. Because when the United States loses its reserve currency status, that's going to have negative ramifications, not just for citizens of the United States of America, but that's going to reverberate around the entire world. And we're also going to talk about how you can insulate yourself from that. So let's go. Now, here's an article that I will link to. The title of the article is China and Russia Pledge to Step Up Efforts to Build Independent Trade Network to Reduce Reliance on U.S.-Led Financial System. Pretty lengthy title, but it's fine. It's coming out of the South China Morning Post. Now, that's significant because the South China Morning Post is a mouthpiece for the Chinese Communist Party. It's the state news apparatus, just like Pravda used to be in the Soviet Union, just like CNN and NBC are here in America today, with regard to the sycophantic way that they approach the left. So let's get started here. And look, the reason why I'm reading this from the South China Morning Post is because they're the mouthpiece for the government. Because I want you to get a feel for how they, the Chinese, are viewing this situation. And you might say, well, why don't you do the same for Russia? Well, because Russia is a smaller economy, but they're a world power. I get that. So let's look at it from the leading partner, who I believe to be the leading partner in this new venture between Russia and China. I believe it's China. So here we go. President Xi Jinping and Vladimir Putin agree to accelerate attempts to create a system that cannot be influenced by third parties. And they got third parties in quotes because, you know, they're only talking about one third party. They're talking about the United States of America. The two leaders also want to increase the number of deals settled in their own currencies as sanctions threaten to limit U.S. dollar transactions. So they're targeting, in this war, they are targeting our ability to kind of use that sanction model to apply pressure to these foreign governments. We've done that a lot. Slap some sanctions on you and prohibit you from accessing foreign bank accounts denominated in dollars and this and that. And look, quite frankly, whether you agree with that tactic or not, the people that it has been levied against, the governments that have been, we've been levying it against, are getting tired of it. And so they're taking action. China and Russia have pledged to speed up their efforts to set up an independent trade network to reduce their reliance on U.S.-led on the U.S.-led international financial system. Wednesday's video call between Chinese President Xi Jinping and his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin saw special attention paid to the necessity of accelerating efforts on the formation of independent financial infrastructure for servicing trading options between Russia and China. Russian presidential aide Yuri Ushakov told TASS news agency. So right now, the dollar is the world's reserve currency. And that gives us here in the United States special abilities and superpowers. One of those powers, like I said before, is the old sanctions trick. Okay, another one is the ability to finance stuff that we otherwise would not be able to afford, like these long, protracted military conflicts, such as the one we just got out of in Afghanistan. Do you really think if we had to actually come to the table and pay for that kind of stuff up front that we'd be able to sustain such a lengthy conflict? Absolutely not. So that's one aspect. And China and Russia know full well that if they attack us from an economic standpoint over time, especially with the fact with all that we've done to ourselves, okay, China and Russia didn't convince us to print up trillions upon trillions of dollars over the last 18 months to 2 years. China and Russia, they did not sit in our in our halls of Congress and convince the legislators to vote on multi-trillion-dollar spending packages. We did that on our own. So they know that with the house of cards we've already built, applying more pressure and taking away our influence where the US dollar is concerned is going to have the type of gradual effect that further weakens the dollar on the world stage. And to the extent they can set this up between themselves and then start to leverage it with other trading partners that they have, the US is going to be facing a hell of a dilemma. Okay? Reserve currencies come and go. At once upon a time, the British pound sterling was the reserve currency of the world. And that changed. And the same is going to be true for the dollar because of everything I've said. Now here, war, things like that, you might say, well, if we lose our ability to finance, these expeditionary wars where somebody, threatens to kidnap somebody's daddy and then we send the whole military over there to deal with them. If we lose our ability to do that, is that such a bad thing? As long as we maintain the ability to defend ourselves, okay? Some might say that. That might be one school of thought. But let me ask you this. We have 3 programs here in America that are classified as unfunded liabilities. And they're entitlement programs: Social Security, Medicare, and Medicaid. And can you imagine if we weren't able to afford those entitlement programs? They're called unfunded liabilities because, again, they run... Oh, wow. The unfunded liabilities add up to close to $200 trillion, okay? It's just astronomical. It's unbelievable. We can't afford it. The Social Security system is a Ponzi scheme run by the United States government. Because when I pay into it or you pay into it, that money's not going into some little lockbox especially for you. No, it's going to pay people who are taken out of the system now. Now, do you think we'll continue to be able to afford that with the type of unemployment hiccups we've had of late in this country? So we're at the opening stages of World War III. This is going to be a long war, too, because over time, you're going to see the United States is going to have to come to the realization at some point that we cannot continue to do the types of things that we've done in terms of spending. And so what you've got to do, and I talk about it all the time, dollars are trash. The United States dollar is something that right now at this moment, forget 2030, okay? I'm always talking about, well, 2030 is going to be, the early 2030s are going to be the point at which the United States dollar loses reserve currency status. I believe that. But let's bring it closer to home. Right now, right at this moment, your dollar is losing approximately 1% of its value every month, okay? So if you've got $1 in your pocket that's been in there for the last month, it's actually worth 99 cents in 30 days, okay? So this decline is extremely rapid, and please don't have any faith in this government to right this ship. Act as if that's never going to happen, because we have, on the whole, incompetent leadership at every level of government: local, state, and federal. Totally incompetent leadership. You have people who do not understand what it takes to go out and make a dollar or create the type of productivity that generates paychecks for others. Okay? This is what you have in the President of the United States, a lot of the governors, a lot of the senators, congressmen, mayors, county executives. I keep telling you, Mayor of Baltimore City, young guy, but he's never done anything other than politics. That's his claim to fame. He hasn't produced anything other than a lot of hot air with local legislation and feel good quotes, which aren't working out because Baltimore is in a hell of a mess with regard to crime. Unfortunately, a police officer just got shot last night. Depending on when you're watching this, but last night for me, police officer got shot multiple times sitting in her police cruiser. Okay, somebody walked up and just shot in Baltimore City. But this type of guy, this incompetent leadership that Mayor BS exudes, well, he'll come out and say, we've got to do better. No, you've got to do better. You asked for the job of mayor. Now, do something besides platitudes. Anyway, I digress. So what you've got to do is you've got to continue to examine those types of assets that have been appreciating in value unquestionably for a whole lot of time, okay? Either increasing in value consistently over time or holding on to their value. Gold holds its value. And look, we did a video on gold ETFs, different ways to purchase gold. But if you own gold in like an ETF or mutual fund, you don't really own it. You just own a derivative, okay? And at the end of the day, that can get sketchy. So if you're going to go out there and do your due diligence on gold, do it on physical gold. Learn more about that, okay? And as I always say, have some place to store it where it's secure. Safety deposit box, maybe. Some other storage facility, maybe. If you get a lot of it, like remember that video we did the other day about the lady? She had like $400,000 worth of gold in her house. Okay, and then it hit the papers. So, my God. I hope they got a lot of shotguns in their house. Anyway, so you're going to have to concentrate on those hard assets that maintain their value over long periods of time or have consistently increased in value. You're going to have to look at situations that will help you make what you have more valuable. For example, you see a lot of houses with these big, beautiful lawns. At the end of the day, that's a lot of space that is going to waste. Look into producing on that land. Now, you might say, I live in a homeowners association and I got, some acreage, but they won't let me do this or that. They'll let you plant a tree, okay? They won't let you plant an apple tree. They won't let you plant a garden in your backyard. And I'm the type of guy, I'll ask for forgiveness before I'll ask for permission. So, you do with that what you will. But you probably want to make whatever you have, look at it in terms of how can it produce more? How can it provide more? As we go into this, further into this economic World War III. Because things are going to get interesting. We're going to do some study of the Weimar Republic. Because I think looking at the Weimar Republic and looking at the Glasnost period in the Soviet Union, Glasnost, Perestroika, that whole thing where they were leading up to exiting the Soviet system and getting into, being able to have a different type of economic and political system in Russia, in the Soviet Union, turned into Russia. We're going to be looking at those things. So I want you guys to hang with this channel as we do that, because we've got to really examine this to a fare thee well, because this is serious stuff, okay? This is really serious because we're going somewhere as a country, and we're all going together. We're going somewhere as a country that this country hasn't seen in either a long time or ever in some respects, okay? And I know a lot of people are talking about looking at other places in the world, I ain't going nowhere. I'm staying right here in the United States of America because I'm familiar with it. I speak the language. I know, more about the rules here than I do in Portugal. God bless anybody who wants to do whatever they want to do. Great, go for it. But Tyrone Keys ain't going nowhere. I'm staying right here. And in so doing, I want to get prepared, and I want you to be prepared as well. All right, guys. So we'll bring you more. Next, I think I'm going to do something on the Weimar Republic. All right. Talk to you soon.